Welcome to Global Tax Talks Tax in 60 Seconds. I'm Will Morris, and I'm filming this in Beijing, where I am for 2 days as part of a trip that also includes visits to Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Hong Kong. In all of these places, I've been meeting with Chinese clients and colleagues to discuss tax policy concerns. Not surprisingly, these come down to roughly 3 basic and slightly nervous questions. First, how serious are the challenges posed by all of the Trump administration's executive orders? Second, in particular, what would be the impact and how high is the likelihood of the cancellation of the US-China tax treaty? And third, what is likely to happen with Pillar 2 now that the US has withdrawn? On the first of these, as I've said here before, I think we have to take the EOs both seriously and literally right now, and especially when it comes to China, both because it has the largest trade surplus in goods with the US, together with the national security concerns expressed especially in the America First investment policy executive order. When might we have a clearer view of what will happen? The reports are due at the beginning of April, but may not be made public immediately, so an April-May timeframe seems possible. But on this, I noted one other point as well. While the EOs contain strong language, the only thing President Trump himself has been saying about China is how much he looks forward to meeting President Xi. That indicates he may be interested in a deal, so let's see. Second, the possible cancellation of the US-China tax treaty. This would be a blow for many Chinese companies investing in the US, but also US companies investing in China, and there are many more of the latter than the former. US withholding rates would go up from 10% to 30%, while Chinese ones possibly remain at 10%. But there's more to tax treaties than just withholding rates, and this would also remove, for example, the benefits of the business profit article and several articles related to construction, mutual agreement procedure, and so on. And there are adjacent issues like Chinese exchange control procedures, which might also tighten up. It would be unfortunate for US-China cross-border trade and investment, not just future, but also current investment. On the likelihood, I don't know, especially with the unfortunate recent precedent of the US revocation of the Hungary tax treaty. But perhaps tariffs and other tools would be tried before cancelling the treaty. Finally, on Pillar 2, I explained the current US position and pointed out that because of China's tax incentive regime, it likely had the same issue with the UTPR affecting domestic income, deemed to have an ETR of less than 15%. And because China has no minimum tax of its own, its businesses could also face a UTPR issue on non-Chinese income. I got the impression that some were hoping P2 might not now happen, but because of the EU directive, I said I thought that was still unlikely. Rather, a solution that involved some version of a permanent safe harbor, extending the current UTPR parent country exception together with something that allowed GILTI, the US minimum tax regime, to be treated as a qualified Pillar 2 regime, might temporarily address the chief US concerns while giving other jurisdictions time to sort out their own positions in light of the new circumstances. So China would then have to decide whether to introduce Pillar 2 itself. Anyway, thanks for joining, and come back next week so that you stay global tax ready.